All right, I'm here today with Nick. Nick has been a part of our Total Life Fitness program for about 2.5 months now, and he is going to share a little bit about his experience in the program. So, Nick, let's just start with tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe who you are, where you're from, what you do, and what you were struggling with prior to joining our program.
Okay, my name's Nick. I live up in Tomahawk, Wisconsin. I've been living up here since about 2008. Before that, lived down in McFarland, Madison area. Grew up in Oshkosh. I've been, I would say I just describe myself as an outdoors person my whole life, but I was a college athlete. I always have spent a lot of time prioritizing fitness because of my active lifestyle. I'm always been big into hunting, fishing, in the outdoors, and I think that all of those things, it's important to to be somewhat athletic. Everything I do is kind of like a competition. I do professionally fish. I travel out west a lot, and so I've always been, always had fitness has always been part of my life. So I've always kind of, always been on even keel with keeping my fitness up. So that was half the battle with this to begin with.
Yeah, well, thanks for sharing that. So, prior to joining our program, obviously you were struggling, as you mentioned, a little bit to lose weight. So, what were you struggling with specifically, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Okay, so when I really got serious about working out, probably 10 years ago, I'm going to be 49 this fall. So I was 38-ish and was signed up to run the Tough Mudder in 2012, an obstacle course race, 12-mile run. I started doing a lot of, like at-home videos, things like that. I got into probably the best shape of my adult life, and I was probably running maybe mid 180s, and I had a pretty good diet. I was kind of watching my diet, working out like 5 or 6 days a week, and then did that for a few years. I had an injury in 2016, a pretty severe injury where I cut a tendon in my foot, and I was on in the front of my leg, and I was on crutches for 6 months in a cast. So that put me a little bit behind. I bounced back good from that, was able to kind of get back in the swing of things. But I started to notice as I went through my 40s that I went from that baseline, I was usually baseline around 190. And over 7 or 8 years, that baseline of 190 kind of crept up to 200. And then last year, my big transition about 1 year ago, I switched to CrossFit, doing more weights as well as cardio. And I actually gained weight. It seemed like I was, I had more of an appetite. I was hungry all the time, but I've struggled with that my whole life, appetite. And I actually kind of was living more in that 202 to 204, 205 range, as opposed to hovering right around 200. And, it's just one of those things, genetics. Like my dad's heavy, my brother's heavy. I'm always preaching to those guys, because they don't exercise at all, that everything's easier when you're lighter. And I had that ringing in my ears, my own words, is like, man, I'm 5'7", 5'8", and I'm, over 200 pounds, and I work out all the time. And I'm like, man, I just don't know what I can do to change this.
Yeah. Sounds frustrating for sure. So ultimately, obviously we connected a couple months ago. So as far as joining our program, so why did you ultimately decide to join, and did you have any hesitations prior to joining?
No, so like I say, I was kind of getting to that point where I wasn't happy with my weight. I was working out I work out 5 days a week, and I feel like I eat pretty healthy, and I don't want to take supplements. I don't take any meds, pills, supplements, or anything. And I started thinking, okay, well, you've seen a lot of people on social media helping people out with their weight. And I saw your stuff, Luke, Total Life Fitness Academy, and I basically looked at it as, all right, this guy's very active on social media, and it seems like he's very passionate about helping people. And the biggest thing for me is that you were not trying to sell a product, like trying to sell some kind of supplement like that. So I thought, well, honestly, I was down to, this is the last thing I haven't tried for my weight, because I've done keto and I didn't like it at all. I really don't like diet plans. I think that a balanced diet is still the best thing. And I did some intermittent fasting, and that is limited success with that. And I'm like, all right, this is kind of the last straw for me. I'm going to try it. This guy seems honest and legit, so I'm going to give it a whirl. And so far, I'm very happy I made that call.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. So yeah, so now that you've been in the program a little bit, obviously, we'll get into your results in a minute, but what do you feel like have been like the best benefits of joining the program that you feel like you've got?
Well, I think, the one thing that, like I said, that I've had the fitness thing dialed. I think one of the greatest things about it is that I really didn't have to change the food, like where I'm getting my food from. Like I say, being an outdoors guy, my whole family hunts and fishes a lot. And I've been, pretty much eating most of my protein as wild game my whole life, my entire life. I do all my own meat processing, cut up all my own meat. And we usually, as a family of 5, go through 6 or 7 deer a year, and plus various other wild game. And, I go out west and occasionally get an elk. We've had bear, elk, antelope, mule deer, whitetail deer, a lot of good natural, wild, organic protein. And when I talked to you originally, I said, as long as I can do this, before I decided to do it, I'm like, I have to be able to, use my own meat. We have chickens here, so we raise 10 hens, so I have fresh eggs all the time. I do a big garden, so I have fresh garden vegetables, fresh eggs, clean protein, and I fish a lot, so I can always grab some fish and do fish now and again. And so that was one of the big things, being able to use my own meat. I was really happy to hear that I could do that. And as far as what I learned, the first thing I learned when I started counting calories was just something may be healthy, but it's just how high of a caloric number does it have? And there's things that I ate that were healthy that I just probably wasn't getting my portions right. So.
Yeah, thanks. That can definitely be tricky for a lot of people. So now let's share your results. You've been in the program about 2.5 months. What are the specific results that you've got?
Well, so I went from, like I say, in that 204 range down to 182. I definitely am getting to the point where, I carry my weight kind of goofy, like I'm short, stocky. I carry all the weight in my torso, top to bottom. So yeah, I've actually been shopping for clothes, and there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, belt's getting down there, and to see 4 inches off the waist is crazy, And I was hoping to get to that target 185. I thought, man, I'll set 185, and I honestly didn't believe it would happen in 6 months. So I started March 18th, and I thought, well, we'll see if I can get to 185 in 6 months. And I think I did it inside of 2 months, because once I saw how this how it was working, everything was working, I was just like blown away. I was kind of honestly getting on the scale, like, no way, that's crazy. So, I really was blown away by it, which kind of made me more driven to stick with everything. I enjoy cooking, so that's kind of half the battle right there. And it just, modified my grocery shopping a little bit, and off we go, and, kind of get the food prep down, and I don't know. So yeah, the biggest changes for me, it's obviously just been my bar work, my workouts, pull-ups, everything, like box jumps, things like that we do in CrossFit. you can really tell the difference. It's like taking a 25-pound, if you picture a 25-pound dumbbell and taking that off your body, it's like doing your workouts with a weight vest on. So obviously flying around better in burpees, box jumps, and the bar work goes without saying, that obviously you're holding up 25 pounds less. So I'm really excited about that. I'm looking at a new goal of 175 and see how that looks, and see how, what I have, if we have to tweak anything to get there without, if I can do it without being hungry. And, that's kind of where we're at right now. And I'm excited about it. I'm not going to lie. I feel like being a person in, my age, like I say, I'm going on 49. I work out 5 days a week, and I feel like, it's like, I don't want to be selfish, but I want to get rewarded a little bit for my workout, look a little bit better. And if this is, this is kind of the new deal for me, and I don't see changing it at all. So very sustainable. Definitely not a diet. It's more of a lifestyle change, and I'm excited to keep going like this.
Awesome. I really appreciate you sharing that. Obviously, a lot of big wins, a lot of positive things happening so far. So, so now some people are probably listening to this and they're like, this program sounds interesting. So, why would you recommend our program to someone else?
I would recommend the program to anybody, because I think one thing I've taught my kids is that, outside of family, the most valuable thing you own is your health. I look at the things I like to do: climbing mountains, chasing critters around with a bow and arrow. It's hard work. And I don't want to, you get to the point in your life where now my kids are getting older and I have time to do more of this stuff, and I'm pushing 50. I don't want to be, too out of shape to be able to do the things that I love to do. So I want longevity with that. I'm looking at it as I want to be able to go climb mountains when I'm in my 70s. And the secret to do that is keep up on my health, keep up on my fitness. And I think everything else in life takes care of itself. So health is number one, and it just seems crazy to me how many people have everything kind of figured out in life, but yet, they let that slip. And I was one of them. I thought, man, I know what I'm doing. I'm eating good food. I'm healthy. But like I say, weight was creeping up, and now I got it down. I'm really excited to carry on with this program.
Awesome. Appreciate you sharing that, and appreciate your time, Nick.
Yep. Sounds good, Luke.